Peace. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you back to the Foul Play Land. As always, I'm your foul player. Wanted to make a short video regarding my 2 cents as it relates to this whole Chris Colbert thing. I don't have my headphones again, so I'm gonna have to get up close on your asses. Plus, the fucking internet is not working too stellar. And I'm out in the country, if you guys can't tell, fucking by a lake, fucking so the internet might be a little spotty in some cases, but actually give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I gotta get my some chapstick and my sunglasses. Forgive me, my friends. Where's the chap? Wait. Let me use this little one. Yeah. I'm back, y'all. My bad. Yeah, so I was saying, the reception might be a little shitty out here. Fucking here in the wilderness of Maine, but we'll get through it though. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful 4th of July weekend, and if you don't celebrate it, I mean, good, I guess. I don't go out of my way and celebrate it hard body like that, like fucking but if it's a day off, it's a day off. I mean, if my wife bought my son and my nephew and whoever's at my house that day, whatever kid is at my house that day, a shirt with some 4th of July shit on it, I'm not gonna go out there with a fucking Grinch shirt or some shit. You know, I'll be corny and take the pictures with my family and whatnot. And besides that though, I do have a little bit of a patriotic hair about me, especially recently, like fucking and this is not the reason I wore this shirt. It's fucking freezing out here, and I only bought one sweater, and this is it. But it happens to be 4th of July, and we'll roll with it. But yeah, I mean, it's fucking raining out here, which is whack. 2nd year in a row, so we ain't gonna get no fireworks probably unless it stops. So that's kind of whack, and we're pretty much stuck in the house, like with the rain. But I just got here yesterday. I'm fucking tired of shit, so I haven't been making videos like that. I mean, like these last couple days when I really wanted to, somewhat, but with the Chris Colbert situation, I keep saying his name like Stephen Colbert, who I can't fucking stand either. Stephen Colbert, not Chris Colbert. I wanted to make videos on that, but honestly, like from Jump Street, I didn't get to listen to it like when it happened, because right before vacations, I try to do like a lot of shit at once, and I had some stupid drama going on, like, you know, outside of this, like talking to my lawyer, like, you know, all Thursday, like fucking didn't sleep one lick, like. But yesterday was like the first time I slept in a minute, so I ain't get to listen to none of this shit for the most part. As it was happening, and it's not even a big story like that. Like a lot of these channels, like will tell you like that Chris Colbert is a nobody. But the fact that he says a statement from a nobody in your eyes, like it's like fucking all kinds of reason for you to get flustered for, like that just, well, I'll get to that in a minute. But so I ain't get to like, and I'm gonna be completely candid, and it's not like I fucking missed the world because I didn't get to see the entirety of the Chris Colbert interview. But subsequently, I mean, if you don't know what's happening, Chris Colbert happened to say something about Wilder. He did say something about Errol Spence, supposedly. I didn't get to see that part of the interview because the one little bit of interview that I did find was about a 7-minute clip, and it was actually on a channel called Lady Chan. And please subscribe to her. I mean, like, because she had the one copy of it, of a portion of it. So I mean, and that's why I happened to see it. But anyhow, what I did here, I mean, it could have been the most sensational bit because of what I've heard of other channels since then. Like, I mean, like, they didn't say anything that wasn't in that in Lady Chan's video as to why they're making videos and why they're like so pissed off about this situation, while Chris Colbert opened up his mouth regarding Wilder. Like, they didn't mention anything that wasn't shown in the Lady Chan video, which is the only source I have, like, as far as like where I watched the video. They didn't mention anything above and beyond that as to their frustrations with Chris Colbert, a fighter who is a nobody, and according to them, and but anyhow, but in spite of that, I mean, like, that shit. The Chris Colbert says this statement about Wilder, Fury Part 3. He's basically saying like that he didn't think that Fury cheated, that Mark Breland helped Fury cheat, and that he thought that Wilder was sort of making excuses, and he thinks that Wilder is gonna lose in the third fight. Big fucking deal. Like, that's not a big deal. Like, a lot of these channels, I mean, they became I'll get to that in a minute, bro. But I mean, and then, we have to see the problem here. Like, people, like, as far as YouTube boxing goes and the way people cover boxing, there's nobody actively fighting in the sport that is untouchable, in the sense that you can't talk about them, period. I don't care what the fuck you think he represents, because one, he may not even represent all that you putting him down for, like, but two, ain't nobody doing anything like fucking that magnificent and succeeding to where you'll look like an asshole by talking about them. I understand you like really trying to make shit up and talking about a motherfucker, or you invent, like fucking or you're being unreasonable, like in and you're always making videos about this person. I get that. I mean, but and I get if you make videos about that person because you're pissed off that he does that, like, little gay, but I mean, like, but it's not, that big of a deal at the end of the day. I mean, in my eyes. But so the way that the story evolved, from my perspective, again, I didn't hear the whole video. Like, fucking, I'm not like down with the nitty gritty as to who claimed to put the video out, who retracted. I mean, who made them retract the video. I don't care about any of that stuff because I mean, and I don't know, like, honestly, like, and I probably won't bother to look up, like, who caused the video to be posted, who caused it to be taken down, and I don't know anybody. Like, I don't know the grim and gory to that part of the story, but like, to me, it's not even like it's nothing that I could break down, so I'm not gonna cover it. I'll put it like that. Oh, thank you for coming through, Michael Johnson. And Michael Johnson wrote, but you see how they defending Chris just like how some are PBC defenders. No, absolutely. I think all irrational fan bases in boxing today are like terrible. Like, and maybe this was something that was always around and I just didn't notice it. Or maybe like the fact that like a lot of these like irrational fans have access to the internet, could go up in somebody's comments and like cause a little bit of a discord. Maybe they have more of an effect now, like to where I'm noticing them, like, in this age of multimedia, like, but and nevertheless, like, all like irrational fans in boxing are bad, period. The fact that there's like fans that'll like, that'll talk about like somebody's mom and all this shit, and like talking about somebody snitching, like, it's bad all the way around. The way, and honestly, like, it's bad because a lot of lowbrow untalented when it comes to verbiage or speaking, like, content creators are now finding their niche in the world of just mudslinging as far as like it relates to their content. Like they could only say bad shit about another fighter. They could only say bad shit about you if you come to their chats and they saw you somewhere that they got butthurt about. That's irrational. Like that's not sensible. Like I mean, like if Michael Johnson, who I consider my boy, was in anybody's. I mean, I've had bad shit to say about I Am Will of late. If Michael Johnson is in his panel, like fucking or in his chat, like, would it be like irrational, like, or would it be like irrational of me, like, to be like, oh, I'm not fucking with you because you're on somebody's panel, like, or on his chat? That's corny. Like that'd be corny of me if I did it. Like that's mad corny. Like fucking but these dudes be going even above that. Like as far as like the reason as to what drives them, like what their motivation is to tear anybody down or to insult people, like fucking they do that shit, like just waking up, like fucking and the thing is that the reason, my conclusion is that like that happens, like, or they do that stuff because I mean if it had to be a situation of just talking boxing or and giving their thoughts on a fight or a fighter, I mean, like they wouldn't have a lot of material to run with. I'm not gonna say that I don't blame them, like fucking because if you're doing that, like I mean, you just find some other shit to talk about. Like really, like I mean, like seriously, guys, like I get after, like, you don't gotta like rush into the finish line of what you think could be your channel by just being like a fucking beef tart, by just constantly starting problems, because like now the way that you're relegating yourself to starting problems, or the way that you're relegating yourselves to making content, is by bitching about fucking some boxer like saying a statement. Like, is this where we got to sink to? Like, fuck, or the fact that why you're not fucking with the boxer, or why why this boxer's a fucking race trader or something. Like, seriously? Like, yo, like, if you were to go to your barbershop right now, and like I go to a bar, like, I mean, this just so happens, like sometimes they talk boxing in the barbershops I used to go to. I don't go to barbershops anymore, but or I don't get my haircuts in public anymore. That's what I meant to say. Not because I'm fucking worried about COVID, but because I'm too cheap. Like fucking but if I were to go to my barbershop, like a lot of times, a lot of the people that would make these points or like become defenders of fighters were really casual, like fans in a barbershop, let's say. So a lot of times when they would open their mouth, they wouldn't open their mouth and like really, and this is back then, like this is like 10 years ago, like they wouldn't be on like full Mayweather like dick riding defense. A lot of times like they would hype up the fighters that were being hyped up by like TV, and a lot of times that ones that were being hyped up by TV, like in the end of the HBO era, let's say, were like Triple G, fucking Canelo, Lomachenko, I think, I don't know, but so they were like non-black fighters. This was happening on the networks. I get that. Fucking but when during that time, a lot of these people that would get like their boxing like know-how would watch these network channels, like let's say HBO, and then they come back the next week, and then they'd say like why they think Triple G is the shit, like, or why they think like Canelo is like the best thing, and it'd be me, like, and I'd like usually input in the conversation on a Triple G point. I think Triple G's overrated. I think Triple G's resume sucks, but when they would come back at me, it would be like points where I could already tell like, this guy maybe doesn't know boxing that much, but I wouldn't go out there and fucking fight a motherfucker for it. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like fucking, like, yo, like it. I'm having a conversation with somebody who may not know as much as me, but what am I gonna school him? I mean, like, that, like, me being irrational in that barbershop would be me trying to school him, like, whoa, like bringing up a bunch of like, like just killing them as far as resumes and like all that I know. Like it's not worth it. Like it's not gonna be impressive like to talk to a novice. Like fucking not that I'm like fucking high and mighty, but what you motherfuckers do on your channels though. Like you act like if you were in front of the motherfucker, like yeah, you'd be cuffing off on him or punching him, and you don't cuff off on nobody probably throughout the day, and I don't blame you. Like like you don't got to be a tough guy like to fucking to have my ear or like like but the you in regular life like fucking and most people, most reasonable people, like wouldn't get pissed off in this barbershop by saying that they think that Chris Colbert was right. You guys act like you don't put this into real life. You guys act like if, per se, me, which I don't know anything about the Chris Colbert situation, like in that great detail, because again, I haven't watched the entirety of the video, what he said about Wilder, but you act as if like I were telling that shit to you in front of your face, that you would be fucking like trying to grab a motherfucker up, but like that's corny, bro. Like if you actually were about it like that, and you fucking and you did like try to grab me up, which you wouldn't, like, cause I'd fucking knock your fucking chiclets out. But like it would totally catch me by surprise only because it's corny as fuck. Like I don't say like fucking yo, I think Chris Colbert like fucking was right, and then start like getting ready to fight somebody in a barbershop. That's never gonna happen in a real life situation. Not because I'm some tough guy, but nobody's ever gonna get that defensive over some shit, an opinion that a boxer made about another boxer. So that's just that part of it. Like you're being irrational by your reactions to it. Like people aren't being irrational for agreeing with Chris Colbert or like like you guys are over the top. But and again, like I mean, like like I think that like the fact that a lot of these channels are operating with just the bullshit, like irrationalness or fucking starting problems on YouTube, boxing YouTube all the time, it's further like driving one. I already made a case for the fact that these irrational fans and fan bases are what's fucking up boxing. But now you're giving them another target in somebody who's 24 years old in Chris Colbert. Now they got a little bit more like wood to light in their fire, and it's not like that's gonna keep them running for forever. Like that's gonna keep them running for 2 months, because according to them, Chris Colbert is not a big like not a top billing like that, which I agree. Let me get to the comments though, like, and I'm gonna continue talking. Where we at? Michael Johnson boxing talking more. They would give 2 dookies until Colbert, said Wilder. Yeah, I mean, like that's the truth. Like Colbert was not really registering until he mentioned Wilder, like 100%. But these guys, like just because Colbert mentioned Wilder, like got all fucking, got a hair up their ass the size of a fucking full woman's braid. You're telling the truth, bro. Oh, I know this, young target, and thank you for coming through. They're scratching for stuff to talk about, and it's sad. A lot are mad Wilder isn't giving them anything to talk about, and they never liked Wilder. I mean, I think a lot of them may have liked Wilder from the inception. I mean, like a lot of the channels I fucked with, or I fuck with. But the thing is that since Wilder's issues with who they feel is the powers that be or whoever, like they like a lot of like the talk that gets associated to Wilder is largely or a lot of it has to do with race, whether fairly or unfairly. A lot of people that do hate on Wilder, I've noticed firsthand, like that they maybe don't like him because he's a brother from America. Like maybe they like that's just my feeling. Like, and maybe they try to paint it as something else. But and I think a lot of these like no brain channels that are contending against these forces, they do it by being over the top in their defense of Wilder. Like, yo, like Wilder may lose this next fight. Like, let that sink in. Like, it's not like a shoe-in. Like, there's a good chance that Fury didn't cheat. I know it sounds fucking amazing, or I know it sounds like far out, but there's a good chance Fury didn't cheat. There's a good chance that Wilder got older in his last fight and is gonna continue to get older, like with the passing of time. Shit happens. I mean, if you watch boxing for more than 5 years, I mean, like the one constant is that everything changes. Fighters get better, but usually fighters get a lot worse as they get older. So I mean, what then? Um, so you're saying there's no top ranked defenders, and those defenders only PBC defenders. Good point, Dead Game Boxing, and thank you for coming through. No, I think that there are people that are defenders of Matchroom, let's say, and Top Rank even. But a lot of those people, I know where it's coming from. Like a lot of times, like I know a lot of them don't like the PBC. But the thing is that the PBC is this humongous amalgamation of like what used to be like big time promoters, like the best of their ranks, like are like a lot of times like are on PBC now. Dead Game Boxing also put the zone. Yeah, there's a lot of the zone defenders too. There was a big time amount of the zone defenders 2 years ago, and then the zone didn't pan out to what it's supposed to be, and now you know they don't. Those same people are not the zone defenders anymore. Like they're probably just Wilder haters in like YouTube. But people like that are rational though. Like to me. So I mean, it's not like I know that contingent exists, but you don't fight that being a good boxing fan. Fight an irrational group of people that started dick riding like the zone 2 years ago or 3 years ago, who's an app, the zone on a phone. Like you don't go out and start defending that stuff if you're not irrational, because you don't know how the zone, if it's going to be any good or not. And most of the shit that the zone was telling you like was crappy news and you had to pay for it. But to then, so I get that. Like I get that those people like that, they were big time the zone defenders out there and that they were irrational. But a lot of these guys that shouldn't have any business making content anyway, like that are just bad content creators or are not smart. That some of those same people, instead of letting irrational people die where they fall, like now they just make a bunch of irrational bullshit. And it's just on full defense. It's just full shrieking. Like it's a lot of victimhood. Like fucking like the way you combat like people that are oppressing you is by fucking going at their juggler. You're like wanting to win a PR campaign over here, like fucking and it's you're only winning a PR campaign by getting a bunch of people to fucking pat you in the back for any dumb point you make, by bullying like fucking people, which you can't fucking bully me on the internet. You can't bully me in person, like fucking so like I don't know where somebody is gonna think that like by you throwing a stone at me, like if I'm in a chat room, like fucking and you having 11 people like co-sign that is gonna like fucking make me not want to eat or make me not want to go bone my woman later. Like I could care less. I could go days without watching fucking YouTube shit unboxing, like fucking, and it's not like I'm a man's man. Like I'm a fucking regular ass, like fucking like all of you are, like fucking, like I mean, like if you want to listen to YouTube all day, like fucking, I don't give a shit. Like I mean, I listen to YouTube all day, a lot of shit too, but so most times, like I mean, I could tune out boxing. I could watch shit about like cryptocurrency, fucking because YouTube boxing is fucking whack. It's just a bunch of little kids like saying irrational shit to each other. Like I mean, like, and the thing is too, like being that I create content, albeit with my fucking little 100 subs and the 10 of you watching now. And I thank everyone in my 100 subs and like the 10 of you watching now. Like, I mean, I really do appreciate it because you could be doing anything like fucking, and you're watching this fucking Puerto Rican talk from a balcony in Maine or whatever the fuck these rooms are called. But no, I do appreciate you watching. But, at times, me being a content creator who doesn't agree with the irrational fan bases and whatnot, I get caught in the crosshairs of these things. But the thing is that I, again, don't cave into like fucking people trying to gang up and bully on me or bully on somebody else, like fucking like, and it's not because I'm some tough guy, it's because I'm fucking not stupid, like fucking, and I don't give a shit. Like I ain't come to YouTube to make friends, like fucking, like, I mean, I'm not looking to make enemies, like fucking, of course not. But a lot of these guys don't have friends unless it's in YouTube groups. I can make that contention right now. Like a lot of these dudes, they're limited to YouTube friends. Which, I mean, if you do that, it's okay. But just don't be a dick to everybody else, bro. It's an easy fucking an easy ask on my part. Let me keep going to the comments. Young Target, thank you for commenting again. But it says true, but Breland said in an interview he with some UK guys that he didn't even give Wilder any water. And then he's on national TV that pouring him the Dasani. I'm from Alabama, by the way, so I'm a little closer. Nah, salute to the whole state of Alabama. And you know, I didn't see like maybe if I go back and watch it, like I'll notice what you were saying. The Breland interview that he did with those UK cats, I watched a little bit of it. Oh no, bullshit. I listened to the whole thing. It was boring though. I mean, like it wasn't like, you know, riveting shit. Or maybe I should have compared like some of the stuff that he said, like what you said about the water, and like compared it in real time, like and rewatch the fight. Do I think that Wilder like may have been cheated? Possibly with the gloves, like the water thing. I don't see that, like, you know. But who knows? Because I mean, if it was the water thing, he probably could have said to the ref, like right after, or have somebody tell the ref, like, listen, like the water was funky, seal that, or tell the commission like to seal that, and you know, get it tested, like fucking but who knows? Oh, salute to PR. Yeah, thank you, man. Fucking full body, bro. Drop a link in the future and I'll hop in. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to cook. Like, I mean, honestly, like, you know, again, going back to the irrational fans, I've been a little bit reluctant as far as dropping links, because a lot of people get torched if they're on certain chats or certain you know, channels, like so, you know, I don't want to get nobody in trouble, like fuck. But it's not even that. I just wanted to cook for a little while today. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, but a lot, like, and I didn't like honestly, I would have not even made this video today. Like, I was like just willing to let things rock and fucking but the thing is that, like, you know, since the release of that Chris Colbert video, like saying whatever, there's like, I mean, if you guys don't know, that video was taken down from you know, most platforms or whatever. I haven't really looked for it like that. Like maybe it came back on, but it was I mean, in the aftermath taken down, and then you had a lot of channels like that went into a full-on onslaught of just making content that had to do with who was responsible for taking down the video. I mean, it's not much to talk about there, like fucking but whatever. But then those same channels, like today, like as of today, like, because I do listen here and there to people that I don't even like, and I wanted to listen a little bit today prior to making this video to get a little bit of the spirit running through me to fucking be a little have a little motivation. But those same channels today, like fucking are like doing worse shit than they were doing a couple days ago. They fucking like Chris Colbert, persona non grata, bro. Like Chris Colbert is a piece of shit. Chris Colbert is never getting back into the good graces of these channels. Period. Chris Colbert could walk into this next fight with Obama and fucking Stevie Wonder driving. He is never going to get back into the good graces for a 24-year-old guy. I mean, like, you know, I guess. I mean, but I do remember 2 years ago in September when Chris Colbert was the headliner on PBC Fox or PBC on Showtime, where he beat Miguel Beltran, I believe. And that was a dope ass card too. Like, because I think right before that, there was a middleweight match, who I can't recall right now, but I'll think about it later. But all those guys like were, you know, really gun ho about Prince, about Lil B Hop when he was fighting then, and now all of a sudden, just because he gave his opinion on one guy, you know, and I think supposedly Errol Spence was criticized by Chris Colbert too. Lord forbid, like fucking you mentioned Errol Spence, like in addition to mentioning Wilder, like, you know, fucking that's unforgivable. But yeah, so now people that were probably supportive of Chris Colbert, like, you know, 2 years ago, are no longer going to support Chris Colbert regardless of what he does in the future, which I think is sad. But I mean, like, it's really not sad because it's a bunch of irrational people that are doing it. So I mean, like, you know, irrational people are going to do irrational shit. But and and again, like, the reason I'm making this video is because a lot of these channels have went from doubling down to like trying to give coverage to Wilder, whether he was responsible or not in putting the video out there, taking the video down, like whatever have you, to now, like, you know, they're calling people snitches, they're calling people like fucking buck dancers, like, you know, same shit. Yeah, and I'm not surprised by any of this. Like, you know, it's not that like I'm being motivated to do this because of how shocked I am. I'm not shocked at all, and that's the problem. Because, like, you know, this like irrational ass fan base is gonna be around forever. You know, the point of this of trying to bring the brothers up to prominence is not by becoming by dealing with against irrational fan bases with you becoming irrational too. I mean, like, because one, like, the powers that are really like trying to bring the brothers down, like, are always going to be there. I mean, like, you know, you could expose them like as you want, yeah, but don't don't try to make it like to where that's going to expose that or bring that down by you having zero ability to listen to somebody else's point, or by you having zero ability to be criticized or have your fighter criticized because you ain't fighting, you know, and that person not to be a racist, a fucking race traitor, a buck dancer, like, you know, like, y'all wilding, bro, wilding. And I'm like, you know, there's no reasoning with a lot of these people, like, you know, am I gonna do a feature on I Am Will's channel like fucking anytime soon? Hell's no. Like, you know, it's just not my thing. Like, you know, it's not that I don't like him only because I don't like him, but you know, the like, and honestly, bro, this is, I don't front, bro. Like, I don't try to, you know, sell nobody short, like, or not, you know, by saying what I do, whatever. But I was listening to old Willis channel like prior to this, and it was fucking corny as fuck. Same shit. Doubling down on like everything I'm just telling you, like fucking you know, all this enemies all over the place for us that do like Wilder, like fucking just know that like fucking you know, these people can't be trusted, like, you know, shit. I'm not saying that verbatim, but this is what was happening today. Like, same shit. You know that for 4 months, Willie and like a lot of these channels that have no brain cells are going to be talking about Chris Colbert's 24-year-old ass into 2023, you know. And you know, an event, this, I mean, in effect, this is me like trying to get in front of it a little bit, like, so that way, like, again, when fucking Joey has a prediction for the future, it always comes true. 100% of the time. Like, isn't that funny? Like, I said that fucking King Louis was funny style. King Louis is mad funny style. He had to get booted out. Who was saying that years ago? This motherfucker. You know, I said that fucking hyphy and all these other herbs, like I Am a Will, another one, were what they were doing was corny. And like most of that group was that little group was booted from where they were. But you know, the worst of that element, I mean, it would be a debate as to who was worse between King Louis and I Am a Will. They're both pieces of shit. But King Louis is probably on in some methadone clinic as we speak. While I Am a Will is trying to stir shit up with the world. I think the let me go. I'm sorry. Let me go back to the top of the comments. There's a lot more to the story. Which one? The well, you tell me afterwards. The Wilder Spence fan base. The Wilder and Spence's fan base was his fan base. Yeah, they were. They probably were. I think the reason a lot of race talk with Wilder is that he's openly pro-black, so he's being attacked for and also being supported. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I think a lot of it has to do with that. Like, I mean, like, and I applauded Wilder for being about his, like 100%. Like, but I think a little like Wilder's switching up a little bit in his stance. Like, as far like, if he had anything to do with, like, I mean, all right, this is me. Like, if Wilder had anything to do with taking that video down, which he may have likely did, like, I know like somebody else technically was responsible for taking the video down, like whoever the fuck, like, I don't really care. But I know at some point that somebody came to Wilder and said, listen, this dude on PBC is talking reckless, and somebody got to check that boy. And ultimately, like, the video got taken down. Not the biggest of deals, but if that is the case, like, where you as a world champion boxer, probably top 3 moneymaker in the world in this boxing shit, is getting flustered by that kind of stuff. I mean, like, it is concerning. Like, I don't rock like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't cheerlead for people that rock like that. Do I want Wilder to lose? No. I mean, like, Wilder's still like one of my favorite fighters. I'm not gonna go back to like saying my favorite fighter outright, because at the end of the day, all these fighters don't operate like how I would like them to. Not that I'm the barometer of like how things should go, but whatever. But that's, and a lot of that stuff that's against Wilder is always gonna be there. But by fucking being catty, by reporting on other channels, by fucking bullying motherfuckers, like when they come through like to your chat, like, is that really gonna stop the flow on that? No. I mean, like, and these people like think that they're doing a full-time effort in trying to dominate how we should talk about these things. I mean, like, and it's stupid, and it's not like good people that are doing it. It's fucking phony troublemakers, like fucking pussies, you name it. But again, like, this is like all operated by channels that like don't have shit to say. You know what I'm saying? Like if they don't have this extra shit going on, they don't have shit to talk about. A lot of these channels, you like, I mean, again, like, I'm a war, like, it sucks to be you, like, or that I'm picking on you, but it is what it is. Like, fucking these channels like that conduct themselves like a Pentecostal church. Again, I'm not saying Pentecostal dissing fucking Pentecostal black churches. I grew up Pentecostal, so I know how the shit fucking operates. But he basically regurgitates like how a preacher talks and puts a little bit of boxing shit into it and goes on for hours like that. I mean, and to each your own, bro. Like, fucking but within that hour of him going on and on and on, it's mostly a bunch of bullshit, beefing with people and trying to call people out. And it's not beefing with fighters. You're beefing with fucking random assholes that are in YouTube boxing, like fucking, that at the end of the day, I mean, like, don't really matter much in the world. I don't matter for shit in the world. Like, fucking, and it's not that he came at me like that, fucking, but he's just a cornball. Let me continue to read some of the comments. Very true. It was Team Wilder, but I highly think it was directly from Wilder. I agree with you. I don't think it was directly from Wilder. They're keeping his mind clear, and Wilder also said in an interview that him and his team are not being nice to him. Yeah, that I don't kind of agree with, because I mean, like, the mind clear thing, don't even carry a phone, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, lock in for this fight. Like, don't if somebody is running up to you from your team and telling you like, yo, my bad, like, could you stop hitting the heavy bag for a few minutes? because some, according to a lot of these channels, nobody like Boxer like just said that you might lose the third fight. So let's get that taken care of. You know, I don't know. It just seems very not worth it. But Lala D just came through. Elf, salute to you, Lala D, and please, if you could, guys, subscribe to Lala D, fine channel, run by a fine lady. What is your prediction for the third fight, everyone? Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I said this before. I think there's a 70% chance in my eyes that Fury wins this fight. I'm gonna stick to that unless something erratic from the Fury side comes out, which Fury is an erratic fighter. But I've had that assessment for a while. I'm gonna stick to that one. I wish Wilder could win this fight. I mean, like, but we'll see. I mean, and this is more of a fact that he could have added on, like, with a different coach, you know, a better coach, I think, than Malik Scott. Malik Scott may be fantastic. I just don't. To me, it would have not been my pick, and he doesn't have that reputation for being a coach. But yeah, the Young Target also wrote, yeah, but it's a ton on the line. It is a lot on the line. It may end in disqualification. I wouldn't be surprised by anything. No, and there is a lot on the line. But you know, trying to check somebody for talking bad about you because you don't think that you're gonna win, or he gives his prediction that you may not win. It's too much to try to address, especially weeks before a fight, days before a fight, to be frank. Yeah, but you know, and going back to the Colbert thing, like, a lot of these channels are like, now they're gonna make a small, like, you know, part of their career like this in Chris Colbert, and that shit never ends well. If it's about being about the brothers, yo, by all means, there's mad people that are not for the brothers, or that are for, like, Mexican fighters, or that are for Puerto Rican fighters, you know, and that adds flavor to the world. So if you want to be all for the brothers, I mean, by all means, bro, like, knock yourself out. But Chris Colbert is a brother too. In fact, he's from Brooklyn, like I'm from Brooklyn, like fucking Beeville, Saratoga, baby. My mom's worked in Brownsville. Fucking shout out to Saratoga, St. Mark's, the St. Marksman. Fucking shout out to the shitty ass Van Ness fucking or Van Nuys projects, whatever the fuck they're called, worst projects in the world. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, again, Chris Colbert is a channel that a fighter that a lot of these channels loved before, not loved like that, but I mean, like, you know, they had promise for him. If you had to guess, like, right after what's his face, the welterweight guy that a lot of these channels are really pumped up about, like, coming up in the world. I forget his name. 147 guy. He just fought like a month ago. I'll get back to that in a minute. But he was like right below Sun as far as like a PBC associated guy. Because I don't think that got that. Oh no, I'm from Sunset Park. I'm not from my mom works in Brownsville. Lala D. Yeah, I'm from Sunset Park, Brooklyn, 44th, 45th, 6th Ave. Fucking But my mom used to work in 808 Saratoga Avenue in Brooklyn. My mom's was a social worker. And it was like a women's shelter. But and I got peoples out there too in Brownsville. I don't visit Brownsville for shit. Fuck Brownsville, like, to visit. That shit is way too hood for my life. Like, fucking if I don't gotta go into the hood, I don't go into the hood, even my own. But let me highlight the Sunset Park though too. But a lot of these channels, I mean, like, you know, now that they're gonna make Chris Colbert a target, as far as like when these channels take aim at another brother boxer, it never ends well. You know, and now Chris Colbert is the next man up. Before it was Bud Crawford. They'll never give one semblance of credit to Bud Crawford. One. If they do, it's immediately after he beats somebody, and that'll last for like a day and a half. You know, but according to these guys, like, Bud Crawford pretty much walks around with a chain around his neck, fucking licking Bob Aaron's boots. They be saying shit like this. I'm not making up what they're saying. They straight up be saying shit like this. Like Bud Crawford is a raccoon. Like fucking he can't be fixed. Like fucking like meanwhile Bud Crawford might be fucked because of Bob Arum, like contractually. Like Bob Arum may have caught Bud Crawford slipping and fucked him via contract. Does it look like he did? Absolutely. I mean, like, did Bob Arum treat Bud like this prized commodity? No. But some of these same channels, like fucking they'll like, oh yeah, how you think that Bud's that guy when his own promoter don't care about him? Like, so Bob Arum's assessment of his own fighter is what is supposed to make me say, like, you know, if a fight is worth the shit or not. You know, some non-black promoter tells you or gives you the impression that his black fighter on his roster isn't much to be wasting money on. So like that delivers it. Like that's it. Like conversation done. Like, you know, Bud is no good no more. And Chris Colbert, I mean, in Bud's case, like, I mean, Bud just wants to fight Errol Spence, and Errol Spence doesn't want to fight him, seemingly. And a lot of these channels know that Errol Spence hasn't said anything that makes it seem like he wants to fight Bud Crawford. So they make content that's just dissing Bud Crawford to kind of like play a little bit of defense for Errol Spence. Whatever. But Colbert actually talked about Wilder. You know, Colbert talked about Errol Spence, according to what some people are saying. Chris Colbert, in the eyes of these fans, is fucked. I mean, is that right? I mean, you tell me. Like, you're not risking anything. You know, you're fucking watching this video, probably taking a shit, like with a shirt covering your lap and your laptop over your fucking your thighs, like fucking, you know, or you're probably listening to this shit, fixing a piece of lawn equipment on your headphone while you're on your headphones. So I mean, the fact that this guy is risking it all, he's still a brother. It's not like he came up in fucking in a gated community. The motherfucker came up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Way worse area than where Errol Spence came up. I don't know where he came up, but I know it ain't no hood. So just because he gave his opinion on the matter, I mean, the dude's he's cut off from the lineage. Like, that's unreasonable. But you know, Sean Porter was another case of a guy who was persona non grata before, when he showed a little bit of evasiveness for some kid where Sean Porter showed a little bit of evasiveness before he fought Errol Spence. Everybody had bashes to say about Sean Porter, including me. Booster Porter, like fucking his father was corny. And these things are still true. But once he got beat by Errol Spence, I mean, Porter became top billing again. You know, Porter had to fight Bud Crawford, like so that Bud Crawford could prove himself to you and to the world, like that that he was worthy of fighting Errol Spence. Why? Bud Porter was a nobody before, according to these people. Then, like, now all of a sudden he has to fight Crawford, and Crawford's gonna wreck fucking Porter, bro. Like, come on. Like, do we need to watch that? Like, is that a must watch? Would I watch it for free? Yeah, I would. But should that be the fight that we get before, like, fucking Crawford versus Errol Spence? Doesn't have to be. It's stupid. It's a bad idea. But and you know, with boxing, you never know how these things play out. You know, one day like a fucking motherfucker's launching through his windshield. One day a motherfucker gets shot in his head. And I'm using this as examples because this happens to Bud Crawford as far as getting shot, and this happened to Errol Spence as far as launching himself out of a fucking windshield. You know, the shit happens. You know, we may think it's sweet, and then we're not going to get these fights. Not that I think we're going to get Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. Anyway, we're not going to get that fight. And you know, a lot of these fucking same no talent channels are gonna be crying as to why I should be making stories as to why Errol Spence didn't fight Bud Crawford when they wrap up their careers without fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Let me read some of the comments though. Brownsville and Soraya. Some kids made me pay for free parking on the street. They made the whole street pay. We pay too. Yeah. Brownsville is some shit. But he still wins with flat feet, so who cares? Yeah, are you talking about? I don't know exactly what boxing you're talking about. Most YouTubers will be more honest with personal situations if they have celebrity intel, direct contact, and are more appreciative, and it helps little man channels and bring you revenue. Let me read that again. I'm sorry. Most YouTubers will be more honest with the personal situations if they have celebrity intel, direct contact, and more appreciative, and it helps little man channels and bring you revenue. I see that more like from a fighter, like maybe the fighter wants to push it out there and they use a YouTuber. But I mean, like, I do remember like while they're visiting the Scotland or fucking the UK or Ireland with Nesta Gibbs leading up to the Fury fight, and it seemed like Nestor had access, like fucking or more access than what you would anticipate a regular YouTuber having. But now he's persona non grata, and not that I'm here to defend Nestor, like fucking because I don't watch Nesta Gibbs, and if that shit is true about what the little intel or him putting people on blast, like, you know, I don't fuck with snitches either. But you know, I'm not making a big defense of Nestor, but you know, now like Nestor Gibbs, you think he's gonna make a video about like with any insight on Team Wilder? You know, absolutely not. But and does he deserve it? I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like fucking if he was behind it, but it's not about fucking Nestor Gibbs to me. It's more like about Chris Colbert. And Chris Colbert gave his honest assessment. I mean, like, it is what it is. And it's not, again, it's not like a freedom of speech issue. Although I do believe in freedom of speech. And I think you can say whatever the fuck you want about whoever the fuck. But these dudes are cheering like, oh yeah, you know, well, it is a freedom of speech. It isn't a freedom of speech thing, but you do have to be accountable. And now his employers are gonna shit on him. They're cheering this shit on. Like, you know, if PBC Top Rank brings some hell like towards Chris Colbert, like as far as his career goes, like as they've done with Gary Russell for some ungodly reason. I mean, that's stupid shit. That's unreasonable. Like, if you want to see Chris Colbert face his downfall, like, you know, propose for him to fight your favorite fighters, you know? And if he wins, he wins. If not, you know, it is what it is. Like, let him get that reckoning in the ring. You guys are gonna cheer on like fucking if he gets shelved by PBC, which is very likely, which is sad. Not you guys here, but Wilder's team is crippling mainstream media from the lies and messiness. Like as far as like the stuff that Wilder puts out, I don't know. Yo, like, and at the end of the day, bro, like we, you know, you guys that are here are more in tune with YouTube boxing, and you know, a lot of people would watch it every day, like me included. So what might be big news, like, you know, to us is like a nobody gives one shit to even casual boxing fans, not even the world. They better not destroy that man's career over those comments. That will piss me off. I mean, like, it's not that it may not happen, Lala D, but a lot of these other channels, the hypersensitive ones that are crying today, are totally on board with what the worst happening with Chris Colbert. And I know this because I just listened to one, like fucking and again, like, you may look at me as petty. I am petty, bro. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, I'm petty in certain situations. And that's why I'm listening. I'm giving a reason as to why I listen to that fucking dribble of piss that is I am ill will, like prior to making this video. But um it is petty of me to listen, sure. But I happen to be getting taking a shower in this fucking crappy ass lake house bath and fucking brushing my teeth. I knew I had to make this video, so I needed a little bit of inspiration for what I was covering, and I got more than enough. Like, he was over there fucking crying, bitching, and talking about stupidity, like talking about the church stuff, like, or not church stuff, but saying stuff that he felt stuff in his spirit, fucking that his soul cried, like, or like, you know, he's like, he said I wept when Wilder lost. Like, yo, damn, bro, like, is it that kind of party, bro? Like, but I know he said I wept because in the Bible they say Jesus wept, which is actually, if I remember correctly, the shortest verse of the Bible. Jesus wept. So he knew that one offhand by playing the keyboard in church all the time and being in church all the time. And then he mixed it with a little bit of Wilder, with a little bit of black nationalism, like fucking and filled his video with just a bunch of shit content. And yo, you could do that stuff as far as filling things up with you know, getting people enamored with you because, you know, you feel like a church, your channel. Or you could fill a lot of points as far as the plight of black nationalism. That's fine because it's happening. It's true. Okay, but I'm Ill Will is just a bad channel. Like, it's just terrible. He just bad at it, at what he's doing. So to fill in the voids, I mean, he just starts problems with other people. That's why, like, fucking I'm choosing to include him as far as my target in a lot of this stuff. You know, at the end of the day, bro, like, that dude's like, you know, there's a lot of dudes that like that sort of fuck with him, but like know that he's just a grimy ass dude, or that know that he's an instigator, corny as fuck, you know. And I've heard this like firsthand. You know, a lot of these guys that make content, I've said it before, are cool with me. You know, like or where I have their phone numbers. Like, I don't like talk about this shit all the time, but and I don't like go fucking look for bad commentary like by other YouTube people about this fucking inconsequential, fucking non-talented I am Ill Will. Not one iota. But I do know for a fact that a lot of people do find you annoying. I do know for a fact that, or if I had to predict, the same way that a lot of these other dudes got booted out, there's gonna be something that this irrational ass little kid, fucking immature, no talent dude is gonna say that is gonna get him kicked out of his group. I mean, like, you know, am I like pushing for that? No, it's gonna happen naturally. But know this, that me was at the forefront of saying that this dude was sus for over a year. And it's not like I made tons of videos. Like, yeah, I may sneak in a diss about him or like here and there, like, but it's not like I make constant videos about this guy or like even watch his content because he's whack as fuck. But I did give my prediction, or I did give my first assessment that this dude was corny as fuck. And when all these other people come to the realization that he's corny as fuck, and he does end up getting booted from wherever he's at now, then it goes to prove that they agreed with me without them knowing it, though. Let me read some of these comments. Read my early comment if you can. Just let me know which. Do you remember? Oh, Talking a Lot. He loved his Brownville. He died a year ago now. Talking a Lot. The name sounds familiar. Like, is that an entertainer? Maybe. Oh, shout out to the double L's out in Brownsville. True, bro. Low lives. Like, I love Polo. If that's the comment, if that's not the comment, too, let me know. I get along with most people. I do too. I think he's cool. That's fine. I'm glad I don't know all the drama that's going on. I know some of it, a lot going on. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, and again, like, you know, like I don't want no trouble like to come your way for even being up in here, like fucking but that is the actions of rational people. Like by saying, "Oh, you over there, you can't be here." Like I get, like, if somebody, like I've said this before, like if somebody was in another channel and like that other channel is dissing you, like and I gave the example of Michael Johnson. Like if Michael Johnson was on MC Get Busy's channel and MC Get Busy fucking hates me, and Michael Johnson just happens to be there, like, or like is saying, I wouldn't give two shits. He's still gonna be my friend. If Michael Johnson is joining up and saying, "Oh well, like, yeah, MC Get Busy, I know that you fucking hate foul player, like fucking I do too, fuck that motherfucker," I would actually find it funny because like fucking but I could see somebody getting upset over that, but these dudes be fucking inventing shit like to start problems over, and I wouldn't have an issue with it, like, but a lot of people that I think are good people have fallen in their crosshairs, or been victim to a lot of the stupid fucking bullying shit that happens, like, on YouTube. And at the end of the day, bullying on YouTube just sounds like an oxymoron. It's not a big deal, but like these dudes be taking it too far though. I'm sorry, and like ultimately, I don't even like a lot of these, like, a lot of these people that I'm talking about. No, Talking Allah was a YouTuber who. Oh yeah, I do. Now I know you're talking about. I don't listen to MREC that much. I know people that know MREC. And I forgot the Queen's chant, like, that he be bringing on there. I just don't get the, and MREC shit always gets they never like recommend it or anything like that, or they don't give you notifications, like. But I shout out to MREC, like, all that he does, like fucking. I think MREC's from Uptown. Not sure, but I know some people that know him. What are your thoughts on the last comment, bro? And if it's yours, let me see. I think it's a personal gag order and settlements going on behind closed door. I'm not sure, but I think it's more to the story because it's a lot going on. That could be a possibility, but I think there's a lot to this story, Young Target, because it's a little bit extra to try to pull a video down about somebody's comments. MREC is Flatbush area. Oh, nice. Shout out to Flatbush too. But I think the reason that this became a bigger story is because somebody asked to pull the video down. At the end of the day, whether that was Wilder himself, Wilder's team, like, that made the story bigger, because even Chris Colbert giving his assessment and thinking that Wilder's going to lose is way less of a story than Wilder or somebody associated to Wilder asking to pull the video down. Yeah, but it's you can't be the bully too. There's another point too. You can't be the bully and the victim at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking if and at the end of the day, man, like, personally, brothers have been dominating the sport and they're going to continue to dominate the sport. Just let these shits happen naturally. And the way that shit happens naturally is by getting them fights, not getting them the top fight off the rip. Like fucking, Bud Crawford is a brother. Errol Spence is a brother. Let them fight each other. Whoever's the best, he's going to go on like to bigger things in the world. Like, it's not the best when as Bud loses a little bit of skill, or the best when I clean up my side of the street. No, fucking do that shit now, bro. What the fuck? Like, for a fact Errol Spence is gonna fight Ugas next after this fight, bro. Like, fucking why? Nobody wants to see that shit. It's for a belt. Like that, like Ugas is like a fucking bikini string hair away from losing that belt. How much of a belt did he win? Won a vacant, was that a vacancy? I forget. What's your thoughts on the last comment? Bro, I read that. MREC is Flatbush area. Yeah, I mean, and I hope that I covered your comment. Unless you were meaning something else, but if I did, if you did, let me know, man. But yeah, I mean, like, and the bullshit got to stop, bro. Like, fucking and honestly, being that I made a video about this clown ass dude recently, again, I was more like in tune with just letting the shit rock, like because, and it's not just him, like, so I am ill will, like, don't get butt hurt because I'm picking on you, even though I don't like your ass, but fucking or take it how you want to take it, but it's not just him, trust me, it's not like just him. And the thing is too that I had a little bit of time to think this shit over, like right after I made my video about him particularly, like, this whole Colbert shit happens right after, and then fucking and I already see how these channels are gonna go right into creating content, like, fucking for the months that follow. I mean, it is what it is, like, fucking it's just corny, and I don't like for these same people to tell me some shit about boxing, like, fucking when you're like caught up in the emotional side of boxing fanaticism. You know what I'm saying? El Foul player. If Bud and Spence don't fight in their prime, I'm holding it against them forever. That's it, telling you they're not gonna fight, bro. Or young lady. I like they're never gonna, like, I mean, if they fight, they're gonna fight at 154 or some shit. Or they're gonna fight on Versus or whatever the fuck that other Triller. When they're already retired. And but it's more of like how much, if a lot of these channels that were like so defensive about bringing anything about Errol Spence were taking the side of, well, like, Errol Spence, I know you're bigger than Bud Crawford, but just give him the 50-50 and let's make this fight happen. If they would have taken that tone rather than like fucking getting so defensive about like fucking Errol Spence, I mean, maybe that fight would have happened last year. Maybe that fight would have happened this year. Instead, we're watching him fight Pacquiao. An okay fight. Has Pacquiao lost before? Tons of times. Seen him lose a variety of different ways in a variety of different weights. Nothing new. Just a name. But following that name, you're going to fight a no-name in Ugas, who a lot of these channels are going to convince me or try to convince me that it is a name. And if I happen not to agree with any of that, if I don't think that Ugas is like fucking top billing, then, it's because I'm Puerto Rican and I'm trying to manipulate your thoughts, like fucking, because you know how these Spanish dudes be getting down. Unreasonable. Yeah, but with that, let me wrap it up, man, because the Mets are playing. I'm glad you guys came through. Thank you to Lala D for coming through. Please subscribe to her. Michael Johnson Boxing Talking More. Subscribe to the brother too, Young Target, and the brother who was commenting earlier. His name is Dead Game Boxing. Thank you for coming through. To anybody who catches this after the fact, I appreciate you listening to me go on. Let me see. Oh, there was one more comment. What if Bub moved up to 154 and beat Mel? That would be easy though. Believe it or not, I have Mel winning that fight if they were to fight. But if Bud Crawford moved up to 154, I mean, it would probably be the biggest fight to be made. With him and Mel, but a lot of people that he could fight at 147. Like I want those fights. I want to try like my damnedest to make those fights happen. I have no hope that the fights are gonna happen again, but while it's still feasible, while there's still some outward pressure, let's see if we get that fight to happen. And at this stage, I think we should push the issue as a 50-50 issue or bust. Like, and only because of where we are right now. I think that Errol Spence kind of like threw the 60-40 at Bud Crawford when they met in person that one time, and it's kind of like been like a sticking point for Bud Crawford to not make the fight. Like, so just let's make this conversation 50-50 from here on out. In the spirit of making the fight happen. Not in the spirit of, oh, you should take 60-40 because I got to convince you of why Errol Spence is a bigger fighter than you. Like, that's whack. TS Boxing wrote Crawford beats Jamel at 154. I don't know, bro. That's a tough one, man. Bud Crawford isn't a big guy. I mean, like, Bud Crawford has a lot more skill than him. But Jamel, I mean, like, as much bad shit I have to say about the Charlos, Jamel at his best is nothing to fuck with, bro. I think so too, Tyrone Smith. Yeah, I mean, I can't agree, guys. Like, not a bit. Well, fuck you guys. Like, never come back to my channel. Like, you know, like, fuck. That's what these other channels do. Man, fuck y'all. Like, you know, raccoon motherfuckers. Like, you know, you guys are welcome back here. Even though I don't agree with that one point. Don't say that anywhere else though. I mean, like, fucking because then you'll be hunted down in these YouTube streets. I hate the phrase YouTube streets, bro. Every time somebody says the phrase YouTube streets, it just sounds like the most unstreet shit, like fucking in the history of internet, like fucking talk. Actually, in the history of street shit. Tyrone Smith said, question, L, why do you think so highly of Jamel? Forget about the belts. Look at his skill set. No, I think highly of him because I don't think it's a big challenge for him to stay at 154. And that's a big deal. Like I don't think he has to kill himself to make the weight. I think he's in the vein of Errol Spence as far as like being a little bit above basic, like, or doing a lot of things well. But that a lot of things well could find somebody who gets hit in Bud Crawford sometime in the fight. And a lot of times, like, I mean, like, you know, whether you think that some of these knockouts that Jamel had, like, I know some people have said that, like, you know, people took dives in those fights. I don't believe that. But a lot of times it's just by him giving a love touch. And it hurts, you know, his opposition. And he, you know, Jamel's had a good record. He can't cut off the ring properly. He doesn't. He throws looping shots. All he has is a solid jab, and he's quick. No big deal. That's a lot, though, man. I mean, Bud does have more tools than him, but it's just a way bigger guy, bro. Jamel is a big dude, bro. Like, a big dude fighting at 154. But having to compensate for, like, the difference in the weight of the gloves from 154 to 147 and having to fight somebody who fights who probably punches harder than anybody he's ever fought, I'd edge it for Jamel. I mean, if he beat Jamel, I would be rooting for Bud Crawford, though. I'm a Bud Crawford fan. I'm not an irrational Bud Crawford fan, though. Oh my God, Tyrone Smith, that's facts. These guys cannot take a punch. Jamel is only 5'10". That's big, though, bro. Like, I mean, like, I think Bud Crawford is rumored to be 5'6". I mean, 5'7". I think that's closer to 5'6". But Jamel, like, I mean, like, Jamel, like, look at like, take like Hurd. Like, when they take these weigh-in pictures, like, Hurd looks like he's gone. Like, Jamel just looks like he's he got his panties in a bunch, but he always looks that way. Jamel looks like he's good for 154, like, for a while, like, and it's just it'll be too much, I think, for moving up and beating somebody like that. Salute, by the way, to Lala D, like, and salute TS. But who knows? I mean, like, and again, I'd be rooting for Bud all the way. You know, I don't gotta say Bud's gonna win because I'm the better guy. I mean, because I have more affinity for him, like, you know. And don't question it one bit. A lot of these channels that make, like, this anti-Bud, way over the top pro Errol Spence channels, they want Bud Crawford to go to 154 in the recesses of their mind, or in the recesses of their content, because they actually put it out there. Like, you could tell that they'd be more than happy if Bud Crawford went to 154, lost. You know, who knows? But these dudes are, you know, it is what it is. I never understand your Jamel logic. Jamel logic is, I mean, like Jamel's the truth, bro. Like, I mean, he's not like leaps and bounds, like but I do think he's talented though, man. And Jamel is a way better talent than Jamal. I'll tell you that straight up. Nobody will agree with that sentiment. Um, and this is more comparing it to Bud Crawford. But Jamel, like, I mean, like, I did overrate Jamel's power in the past. As far as him setting up a power shot and whatnot, when he does set up his power shot, does it like detach dude's retinas? No. But has Jamel put people away with what's a regular fill me in like punch throughout a fight? It's happened more than once. But for him to fight against Bud Crawford, and Bud Crawford is really good at setting up his own shots, yeah, but it'd be tough. Like, I don't know. It's a tough fight, but I'd give it to Jamel on that one. I agree now, Lala D, and I used to think Maul was better. Yeah, a lot of people did. A lot of people still do. I think not only do I think Mel is he's marginally better, but takes on a lot better opponents and is not ducking Eric or Demetrius Andrade the way that Jamal is ducking outright, openly, like no question about it. Like fucking Jamal is big time ducking Boo Boo. Will these channels cover that? Absolutely not. You know, it doesn't fit their narrative. Like, you know, we control the narrative. Like, forward. Like, that's such a dumb, like, fucking, such a dumb mission statement. To try to control the narrative of YouTube boxing when boxing is not even a big sport like that. Boxing is better than, or like marginally, like more recognized than like skateboarding or some shit. Like, you know, nowadays Frisbee's fucking catching up to boxing. All those guys he put away tell me that about their punch resistance. No, I mean, like, they're not like the stalwarts of punch resistance. And he has fought a lot of people with suspect punch resistance. But Jackson, Hatley, Lubin, Trout, Harrison, Rosario. Harrison could take a punch. Harrison doesn't have good stamina. Rosario could take a punch. He just gets caught by a lot. Trout is 50-50. But Trout's a tough fight, bro. Lubin, shit punch resistance. But some people draw him out to be like the shit. Hatley, Jackson. I mean, we found out that he had that he got detached. I'll tell you today, he's not gonna knock out Castagna. Probably not. I love Trout. Yeah, and Trout was shitted on too, man. Like, you know, and Trout beat the shit out of Cotto. Trout had the best performance against Cotto in Cotto's career. I think better than Manny Pacquiao Cotto, even though Pacquiao got him out of there. Trout schooled Cotto. Harrison and Rosario can take a punch. You're tripping. Yeah. Have you watched them fight? Yeah, no, like Harrison can take a punch and he could fight. Rosario could take a punch, but he just gets caught by too much easy, like, you know, shots, and they accumulate. Plus his face is all torn up. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Like, I mean, like, I'm more in the party of wishing that Jamel and Bud Crawford don't ever fight unless Errol Spence and Bud Crawford fight first. I mean, will I be pissed if Bud Crawford and Errol Spence fight at 154? No, if they're both unbeaten at that point. But if they fight at 154 after they all taken a couple of losses, that's going to be whack. Because if you want to replace Mayweather, i.e., have a dominant American black man to be the face of boxing, you're not gonna do it by controlling the narrative. You're gonna do it by that guy who you want to be that next guy to clean out all comers, to not have any room for anyone to wiggle out of a negotiation with said fighter because he's already cleaned up his side of the bargain. As even if it's unfair, like that, he has to take on, you know, Bud Crawford while Canelo fights, you know, some washed up European guy. You know, in spite of all that, you know, you want him to go into a negotiation with per se a Canelo or per se a whoever the fuck, you know, you want that person to go into that negotiation and be able to put his shit on the table and nobody could knock it down. You know, you got to explain why I should give two shits about Errol Spence. You got to explain why I should give two shits about Bud Crawford. You got to explain at times Wilder to a degree. And is that fair? No, it's not fair, but you're not going to change that apparatus where these guys don't get shine by running a bunch of bitch ass channels. LOL, if you have a link, I need to give you a therapy session. Yeah, fuck it. Let me put one out there. You could join too, Lala D. I gotta dip off soon though, because actually let me check if the Mets are winning. We got a double header today. I think I put the link up. If I fucked up, let me know. I don't know. I don't know the internet like that. Actually, I left my phone inside. Love, baby girl. Whatever. I'm trying to see if the Mets are winning. Actually, I can fucking Google it on my laptop, bro. My bad. Man, we're getting fucking rocked. My bad. You gave TS a link. Oh no, TS could come through, bro. The Tyrone's my man. Let me know if you pop in though. Yeah, but you know, like I've had support for both Charlos. Even when they were on Golden Boy, I thought they were really, really, really under promoted. I think that the time that a lot of these people like started coming from these other promotions into PBC, that it gave me a lot of hope that, you know, a company run by a brother like had a lot of brothers and other people coming through, and that it was just going to be battle royale 100% of the time. The last thing I would have thought was that instead of getting this battle royale 100% of the time, that we were instead going to get a fight every 6 months from a lot of prime people, and that we were going to get a horde of no-brain internet channels telling you or telling me why I should think that these fights that happen twice a year against subpar opponents is the shit, and why I should change my mind as to them being the shit or not. I meant to say yeah instead of you. And here goes Tyrone. And thank you for joining me, Tyrone. Let the people know where we can find you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Just TS Boxing on YouTube. But
hold on, my bad. It's a little low.
TS Boxing on YouTube. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah. You're not the only one who has this issue. I've seen a lot of cases, you know, of Jermel dysfunction, you know, Jermel dysmorphia, whatever you call it. I think where we need to start is, this is what I think is going on. A lot of these people who like Jermel to disagree or I think overrate him, you're falling in love at the fact that he's fighting the best guys at 154. You're brushing over the fact that he's a big fish in a small pond, and you're not actually looking at his skill set, nor are you looking at the quality of the fighters that he's facing to begin with. I can be the best of an anthill, but if the anthill is like on the ground, what does that mean? Nothing.
I see what you're saying. I mean,
Make you a great fighter. It's the competition. You
one
said
one
that
one
Harrison
fifty
and
four.
Rosario can take a punch.
Yeah, 154 as a division though. I mean, 154 has to be
Has to be what?
a top 3 division as far as like where everybody is like how do you say that?
You're proving my point as you're saying.
No, like the level of parity there is not that off from one to the next. Like especially when he was gonna fight a lot of these guys. Like it wasn't like a lot of people thought that J Rock was way better or way worse than anybody else in the division or Herb or like they didn't rate nobody like or even what's his face Lubin. A lot of people had Lubin to be that next guy. So there was a lot of parity there before they fought. You know what I'm saying? Have any of those guys that he beat amounted to shit? No, and I didn't really anticipate anybody really amounting to a lot before they all fought and in the aftermath. But he did beat them though. You got to give him that. Like he struggled with Harrison. I think he should have fought Harrison again. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, a lot of those wins weren't debatable. Like, so I'll give him credit in that. And like 154 is to me, like, even in spite of these guys now losing, even in spite of the fact that Lubin doesn't look good, even though like some people are trying to convince you or like that he looks good or that he should get top billing again or down the line. I don't think so. But 154 is still a better division than most in boxing. I'll put it like that.
Better.
That's not saying much. That's not saying much.
Better why though? Separate you being a fan and look at the quality.
No, the level of parity and the fact that a lot of those guys actually do mix it up.
But that's relative. And you said the fact that they mix it up. I don't care about any of that. I care about how good the fighter is. That's the only thing I care about. This is my argument. I'm separating because your argument right now is of a fan. The fact that they're all equal and they're fighting each other. But that doesn't make them good fighters.
I mean, they're not morbid fighters either, though. I mean, like, could you say that Lubin is, terrible? Like, or like,
no.
Like, but, and in spite, he's still on a win streak of sorts. It's just that when you compare it to other divisions, I mean, 140 is way better than 154. 135, you could make a case for it. I mean, there's no like
as way better fighters than 154.
135?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could right now, yes. But when all these guys like prior to them fighting each other, I think a lot of people anticipated a lot from this crop of 154 guys. Didn't pan out that way.
Really did. 154 wasn't even popping before they fought each other. Really, nobody was even checking for them to be, unified champions and everything else. Nobody knew. Everybody knew they weren't any movers and shakers in there.
No, I don't think that they like no. Did I think that one of those people, even if they cleaned everything up, when those fights were at their max potential, like per se, if Hurd would have lost to Charlo or some shit.
This is like 154 is going through this, right? It's actually a bit better comp, but is going through the same thing. I find it funny how people say 154 is so good now, but nobody had much to say when Crawford cleaned up 140. And if you look at those divisions, at the time, 140 at the time and 154 now, it's very similar. Guys who are not, who don't blow your hair back, who just hold belts and one guy come in and sweep everything up. Now Crawford is a way better talent than Jermell. It's not even debatable. I mean, Crawford ceiling is way up there, and Jermell hit his ceiling.
Well, and I also think too, like that the sacrifice that the people from 140 made when Bud was going through that division, in addition to like the people that were in 154 being talked about a year or two ago, up until now, they did make the sacrifice of fighting each other. Like when the fights weren't that big, like, and I don't think, and honestly, like I think that two things. One, that I thought back then, like whoever like cleaned it out, even if they cleaned it out under the best of circumstances, like I was saying, like if per se Jamel were the one to beat Hurd, and it was a two belts against two belts match, and like I don't think that the winner of that would have went on like to become like top billing and like widely recognized. No. I think they should have been recognized a lot more. Like if somebody would have cleaned it up at their prominence to the point where that person wouldn't be looked at as an asshole. Like if they called out Canelo once they retained all four belts, you know, it wouldn't be like out of pocket. But like I think a lot of people thought that whoever cleaned out that division like 2 years ago or 3 years ago was gonna be like the next guy, and it has been a little bit disappointing from what we've seen from the division since then. But it's not like a bum ass division though. I won't say that.
No, but like guys like Rosario's a bum. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I said this a long time ago, and people laughed at me. They said I was a hater and everything else. But all these things I say, and when they come out true, I'm not a Nostradamus or nothing, and I do get a lot of things wrong. But the things I do say are, you know, I try to base it in facts that are out there. If there is something that I say that's emotional, I'll tell you. I'll say because I'm a hater, because I'm emotional. I say it.
But no, but don't think that, hold on, but don't overly think. Don't think that I'm overly overvaluing like what I see at 154 because of
I do think fandom. You are. I do think you are overvaluing.
No, my fandom or like, you know, because if I'll diss Charlos all day, bro. Them dudes got robbed by a couple of sevens in 40-40 in New York.
It's this is why you're overvaluing Jermell. It's because you like what's going on in the division as a fan, and you're conflating it with the quality of the fighter.
But I had to base that with his peers as well, like the fact that like it doesn't happen, it's not happening in other divisions as much. Maybe 140, like right now, or like 140, even when Bud Crawford had the reins there, but it was happening there. Whereas in other divisions, it's not happening. We still haven't got what we wanted at heavyweight. Still not getting what we want at 147. Definitely not getting it. I could make a case that we're never gonna get it. Light heavy. I mean, shit, like that's unspoken for right now. But you know, this is what we have to pick amongst. Or in my case, like the fact that I am giving him credit, it's this is like the best that is being offered to me right now. So I mean, like as much as I don't like him personally, I think he's really corny. Like as his brother, I think his brother's a big time duck artist. But I do give Mel credit for what he's done. I think and another thing too, I think he's not given enough credit for what he's done. As much as I don't like him.
And we also have to remember as well, back in 2017, 2018, Jermell was fighting Hurd leftovers. Hurd had already knocked out Harrison for the title and fought Trout. Immediately, Jermell goes after he fights Lubin, which was a good win at the time. He goes out and fights Trout and then fumbles on Harrison. Harrison was supposed to be a stepping stone. Hurd went straight away that April, the April of 2018, right? And fought Lara and unified the division, right? While Jermell, I didn't see majority decision. I thought he beat Trout easy, and then he fumbled with Harrison, and I thought he beat Harrison the first time.
Yeah, I had my boy Oliver come through, but
Okay.
yeah, I see both your points. Mel and 154 is a breath of fresh air, comparatively speaking. Yeah, I mean, like,
Harrison was doing way better in that second fight, but Harrison cannot take a punch, dude. I'm telling you, you go back and watch Harrison fight. This man
no,
can.
Harrison could take a punch. He just
Which
loses.
punch can he take?
No, he just loses a lot of stamina, though. I mean, and he's there to be punched.
Dude, it's not that. I'm telling you, the guy has poor resistance. That last punch that clipped him versus Charlo, he literally missed it. His glove was an inch away from his face, and he was pulling back off of a left hook, and he just scrambled.
But I
It just
think
scrambled.
he could hide a lot of that with his talent, like the fact that he could play keep away or keep you at a distance really well. It's just that he fucks up from 9 to 12 every fight. He loses a lot in the tank. He was doing well against Hurd too.
Yeah, he was doing well, but he can't take a punch. J Rock cannot take a punch. Rosario is a bum. I've said that for over 2 years that Rosario is a bum, and it's proven that he is. I couldn't believe that people said he beat Lubin. I mean, if he caught him with something, and he didn't even put anything into that left hand that he threw. That was barely like a jab, and Lubin.
Rosario turned out to be a bum. Like
no, I knew Rosario.
No, Rosario turned out to be a bum. I think a lot of people were rooting for him more.
Child, when they did that unification fight between Rosario and Jermell, I said, man, Jermel's going to take advantage of this opportunity. He said, what do you mean? It's a great fight. It's a toss-up fight. I said, hell no. Rosario's trash. If you're getting split decision versus Jorge Cota, who's probably the worst ranked fighter in the PBC stable, it's not even close. He is the worst fighter on the PBC roster who's ranked highly. Top to bottom. Have you seen Jorge Cota fight?
That's the dude from
He is ass.
No, he's from a big city though, right? Like
I don't know. All I know is he's trash.
But he speaks good English though, right? Like
no, he doesn't speak English.
Oh no, never mind. I thought it was the dude that lost to Jacobs. I have seen
Rosado. No, not Rosado.
No. The dude that lost to Jacobs.
Mora.
He was unbeaten when he lost to Jacobs.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll think of it. Not of any consequence. Nah, but I've seen him fight, but I just can't recall off the rip like that. But and I mean, at the end of the day, the 154 was never a glamour division. Period. Even like at the top of boxing, like nothing that B-Hop was doing there like was the
Trinidad.
Even then, like they were always
it was top heavy.
Yeah, but it was always like not like the lockdown best fights were at 154, like that everybody wanted to see.
Yeah, 47 or 60.
Yeah, the better fights were at 154 at times, but it wasn't like the stop what you're doing, like we gotta watch this shit happening at 154. So there's always been that history of the division not having that top billing. But Jamel's doing shit in a very shitty era. Like so I'll give him credit on that end. It's not because I'm a Jamel fan. Like that dude talks like a tranny. Like he's getting robbed by sevens in a 40-40. Fucking emotional. From what you hear, they're bullies. So I mean, like I'm not, propping him up like for some shit, especially undeservedly. Good stuff, undeservedly. Like, and I always say shit bad about both Charles, but I will give him credit for what he's done. Like I think he got to keep adding on to it though, or just get the fuck out of the division. He should get out of the division.
Jamal or Jamel?
Jamel and Jamal.
Well,
Jamel should fight fucking fight Andrade.
I don't know what he does at 160.
At 160, I think he'll do well at 160, bro.
Jamel can't beat Andrade.
I'm starting to think that neither one of them could beat Andre. Well, no. Actually, I give Jamal.
Jamal has a better chance, but Jermell, he can't. No, Jermell's not going to be able to do anything with Andre.
Yeah.
Jamal turned down Jacobs for his last fight. He was supposed.
Yeah.
He could have fought Jacobs at a hometown fight, but instead they picked that guy, that Montiel guy.
And now Montiel is the new Sean
Montiel
Porter.
is the new up and coming rising star at 160. He's a warrior. He can
Tough
fight.
Mexican.
He's a tough Mexican. He's all
good lineage.
Good lineage, great skills. I mean, he'll be world champ, just like Jamal.
Nobody's been wanting to fight him since.
No, he's avoided. Nobody wants to fight.
Check the year that he started fighting on Wikipedia. Let me see.
Yep.
2016. Yep. Nobody's wanted to fight Montiel since 2016.
Nobody.
He's
the.
And if you want to see me, you got to fight Montiel.
Yeah.
Andrade, you got to get your name up with these American fans. You need to get detach Montiel from the.
And you don't have to do it right away. You can fight some tune-ups, then you can get the Montiel because he's a tough fight for anybody in the division. I mean, he'll give Triple G a tough fight. You know, he's a warrior.
Yeah, that's 24. That's $54.99 in HD.
Yeah, the going rate now.
Yeah,
that's what I hate. That's what I can't stand, dude. Fucking a guy that you like has a tough time with a bum. All of a sudden, that bum is a super fighter, is a Superman.
Yeah, and I was saying the same shit about like these same channels that I have that I take issue with, doing the same shit with Porter. Yo, like these dudes would diss the shit out of Sean Porter, and I would join them too, bro. Like I hate the way Porter dresses.
Porter can't beat Crawford.
And I hate Sean Porter's dad. I hate Kango hats.
Porter won't beat Crawford, and I'm not about to jump on that train. People are jumping on that train. Oh man, Porter gave Spence a tough fight. Porter, he'll beat Crawford. You know his style. No, Porter can't beat Crawford.
No, but once like these same channels, once Porter gave Errol Spence a fight, then all of a sudden, like now Porter's okay.
He's elite. Before they were saying he was trash, and that he was steamrolled by Spence.
And I would say he wasn't that great too. I mean, I wasn't saying that fucking.
I thought Spence would knock him out too. I thought that Spence would steamroll him. But I'm not going to sit here and change my opinion of a guy I just called a bum. There has to be. Well, I didn't call him a bum, but there has to be a reason why I thought he was at a certain level. Just because he gives a good performance against a top guy, that says more about the top guy than it does about the other guy. Because I've already seen more than enough of Sean Porter through the years. Well,
now that works in its inverse, though. Like, I mean, like you could pick and choose. Like, if somebody gives you a tough fight, to somebody you like, then that person becomes the gatekeeper or the standard bearer. Because, like, I mean, as much as I talk shit about Green Bean, or I could talk shit about Green Bean and giving Bud Crawford a fight, like, why don't Porter go fight Green Bean? Or why isn't that something that needs to happen? Like, no, like, I mean, I don't want to see Green Bean fight ever again if I don't have to. Like, fucking, but what I do want to see are like the dope fights. You don't got to tell me about substandard fights. Don't convince me about a substandard fight. Because, I mean, like, if it's a substandard fight or going out and doing something or jerking off, I'm jerking off. I actually think Bud stops Porter, but my thoughts doesn't matter if it won't happen. I think so too. I mean, I think he does.
He boxes him up. I think he should do it. I think he might. I think there'll be a lot of headbutts in the beginning, but I think he'll figure him out.
I don't think I don't know if he knocks him out early, and I think he would touch up
I think
Crawford, like until Crawford can figure him out, because like
with headbutts.
Yeah, and another thing too, that Porter gets in your shit or gets in every fighter's space that he's fought. And I'm pretty sure a lot of those fighters go into the game plan where we're going to keep him at a distance, and it doesn't work. Not to say that he does anything world class to get in the spaces that he wants to fight from, but it's not something that you could tell is easy to figure out based on who he's fought. So I mean, mate, what if it takes Bud 8 rounds to figure out how to fight in the space that Porter gives him? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think he knocks him out like, 6th round or some shit like that.
What do you think about people who said some of the stuff? They said that when Spence fought Garcia, Spence wanted to show that he could box.
Because I mean, if it's what they want to say, like fucking he wasn't trying to hurt the dude. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously, like, your principal motivation for fighting Mikey Garcia was because Mikey Garcia said he wanted to fight you, so you felt a certain way, and that fight had to be made. Like, and Bud Crawford had to, sit and wait for you because it covers all the bases. Somebody's talking shit about me. Check. I could gain a little bit of a foothold with the Mexican fan base. Check. But once you didn't get the result that we all thought you would, then it became that you wanted to show the world that you wanted to see a boxing lesson. Never in the history of boxing fandom do people, drunks across the world, like gather around and say, yeah, man, like tonight we're going to watch the fight, drink beers, and get a fucking world-class boxing lesson. Like, no, motherfuckers like, yo, I want to see somebody fucking lose their head. Like, fucking,
In the Porter fight, Spence came out. He said that I wanted to fight with him.
Yeah, sure. Porter was beating him too.
I had Spence winning like 116, 111.
Oh no, he did win by
it was I wouldn't say comfortable, but it was a little bit above. I didn't see how you could give it to Porter.
Yeah, especially after the knockout, no. But and not leading up to the knockout, I didn't have him winning. I think like 2 rounds before that, I gave him a significant amount of rounds. I had him winning like maybe 2 rounds.
Porter was throwing a lot of arm punches, and so he was doing his regular shit.
He does that all the time.
Yeah, his regular.
But he was frustrating him though. Yo, I gotta break out though, man. Like, any last words? And could you let the people know where we can find you?
No, just on TS Boxing on YouTube, basically.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut it off, but I gotta. It stopped raining, I think. So I gotta enjoy the elements. Fucking but thank you for coming through, and I'd like to thank Lala D, my man Oliver Twist, fucking TS again. Son that was here earlier, Young Target, Michael Johnson Boxing Talking More, Dead Game Boxing, and anybody who listens to this after the fact. I appreciate you coming through and let me ramble. But with that, I'm out. Thank you very much for stepping into the Foul Playland with me. Peace.
Peace.